Eliza froze as the wine cascaded down her second-hand dress, the restaurant falling silent as her blind date sneered, $5 for dinner? Did you really think that would impress me? My watch costs more than you'll make in a year. She hadn't noticed her employer, reclusive billionaire Alexander Reed, dining alone in the corner, until he stood, his face a thundercloud of fury. What she didn't know. Alexander had arranged this date himself, testing her character for reasons that would upend both their lives forever. The humiliation burned hotter than the wine seeping through her dress. 28-year-old Eliza Matthews had saved for weeks for this date, stretching her maid's salary to afford even this modest restaurant. Her date, Marcus, had seemed charming in their online exchanges, but the moment she'd admitted her occupation and offered to split the bill with her meager savings, his charm had evaporated. Now everyone was staring, including, impossibly, Mr. Reed, the man whose mansion she cleaned 6 days a week but who had never once truly seen her. That's enough, Alexander's voice cut through the silence as he approached their table. 6'2" with steel-gray eyes that had intimidated business rivals across continents, he now focused that intensity on Marcus. Apologize to the lady. Marcus stammered, suddenly recognizing the billionaire whose face occasionally graced financial magazines. What was happening? Why would Alexander Reed defend a mere maid? Eliza's mind raced. Was she about to lose her job? The job that paid for her younger sister's medical treatments? Alexander settled their bill and guided Eliza outside, his hand barely touching her elbow. I apologize for witnessing your private moment, he said, his voice gentler than she'd ever heard it during her 3 years of employment. But I can't apologize for intervening. In the soft glow of street lamps, Eliza noticed something unexpected in his eyes, not pity, but recognition. There's something I need to tell you, he continued, something I've suspected since you started working for me, but confirmed only recently. He hesitated, and Eliza felt the world tilt beneath her feet. It concerns your mother, Catherine Matthews, and why I've been watching over you from a distance all these years. The revelation hit Eliza like a physical blow. Catherine Matthews, her mother who had died when Eliza was just 16. Had once saved Alexander's life during a robbery gone wrong at the bank where she worked. She had pushed him out of the way of a bullet, taking it herself, but surviving. Alexander had paid for her medical care anonymously, and when she passed years later from complications, he had secretly tracked down her daughters. I hired you not out of charity, Alexander explained as they walked through the park, but because I owed your mother everything. What I didn't expect was to find myself looking forward to the days you worked, to your quiet competence, to the way you hum when you think no one is listening. Eliza's mind reeled with questions. All this time, she'd been invisible to him, or so she thought. Why the secrecy? Why not tell me? Her voice trembled with emotion. Alexander's face shadowed as he stopped walking. Because there's more to the story, he said quietly. Your mother and I, we were more than strangers. We were once in love, years before she met your father. Eliza stared at him, the implications crashing through her consciousness. Which means? She whispered, unable to complete the thought. No, Alexander quickly clarified, seeing her expression. I'm not your father. But I promised her I would look after her daughters if anything happened to her. He reached into his pocket and withdrew a worn envelope. She left this for you, to be given when the time was right. I've carried it for 12 years, waiting. Eliza's hands shook as she took the envelope, her name written in her mother's familiar handwriting. Before she could open it, Alexander's phone rang. His face transformed as he answered, all color draining away. I'll be right there, he said tersely before turning to Eliza. My daughter's been in an accident. I have to go. Alexander had a daughter? In 3 years, Eliza had never seen evidence of family in his home. Before she could process this new information, he was calling his driver. Come with me, he said, surprising them both. Please. Something in his voice, vulnerability she'd never heard before, made her nod. Minutes later, they were speeding toward Manhattan Memorial Hospital, the unopened letter burning in Eliza's purse, questions multiplying in her mind. Who was this man she thought she knew? And why did her heart race when he looked at her with such intensity? The hospital corridors echoed with their hurried footsteps. Alexander moved with single-minded purpose, his earlier vulnerability replaced by determination. They reached a private room where a teenage girl lay unconscious, monitors beeping steadily around her. "Sophia," Alexander whispered, taking his daughter's hand. Eliza hung back, feeling like an intruder until Alexander looked up, his eyes red-rimmed. "She has no one else," he said simply. "Her mother died when she was 10. It's just been us." Understanding bloomed in Eliza's heart. This powerful man who commanded empires was, at his core, a father terrified of losing his child. Hours passed as they waited for Sophia to wake. In hushed tones, Alexander revealed more of himself than he had to anyone in years. His loneliness in his massive home. His regrets about working too much during Sophia's childhood. His fear that he was failing at the one job that truly mattered. Eliza listened, offering quiet comfort, seeing the human behind the billionaire facade. When dawn broke, Sophia finally stirred. Her first words upon seeing her father were, "You brought someone this time." Her gaze shifted to Eliza with curious interest. "You're different from the others." As Sophia recovered over the following weeks, Eliza found herself drawn into their world. Alexander had offered her a new position, companion to Sophia while she recuperated, at triple her previous salary. The arrangement allowed Eliza to finally move her sister into a better care facility. But money wasn't what kept her returning to the Reed mansion day after day. It was the conversations with Alexander that stretched into the night, the laughter she coaxed from Sophia, the sense that she belonged in a way she never had before. And always, there was the unopened letter from her mother, waiting for the moment when Eliza felt ready to face whatever truths it contained. The night of Sophia's welcome home party, Eliza wore a dress Alexander had insisted on buying her, simple but elegant, nothing like the wine-stained garment from that fateful night. As guests mingled in the mansion's grand ballroom, Eliza slipped away to the garden, needing a moment alone. She didn't hear Alexander approach until he spoke. "You've given Sophia something I never could," he said softly. "A friend. Someone who sees her, not her father's wealth." Eliza turned, moonlight silvering his features. "You've given me something too," she admitted. "A glimpse of a life I never thought possible." Alexander stepped closer, his expression unguarded. "I've been fighting this," he confessed. "The way I feel when you're near. It seemed inappropriate, given how we met." Eliza's heart thundered in her chest. "And now?" she whispered. His answer was to reach for her hand, his touch sending electricity through her veins. "Now I'm tired of fighting." The moment hung between them, fragile and perfect, until a scream shattered the night. "Dad!" "Eliza!" Sophia's panicked voice sent them running back to the house, where they found her collapsed on the ballroom floor, guests backing away in horror. The second ambulance ride was worse than the first. Sophia's condition, a rare complication from her accident, was critical. As doctors worked to stabilize her, Alexander crumbled before Eliza's eyes. "I can't lose her," he repeated, a broken mantra. "She's all I have." Eliza held him as he shook with fear, her own tears falling for the vibrant girl who had become like family. In that sterile waiting room, with everything hanging in the balance, Eliza finally opened her mother's letter. The contents made her gasp, drawing Alexander's attention from his grief. "My dearest Eliza," the letter began. "If you're reading this, then Alexander has found you, as he promised he would." The letter revealed a truth more extraordinary than Eliza could have imagined. Her mother had been more than Alexander's first love, she had been his business partner in the early days, her financial genius helping to build the foundation of his empire. But she had walked away, choosing a simpler life with Eliza's father, asking only that her contribution remain anonymous. "I never wanted wealth or recognition," her mother wrote. "But I did want you to know your worth. You are the daughter of a woman who helped build an empire and then chose love instead. Never settle for less than everything your heart desires." Alexander read the letter over her shoulder, his expression transforming from grief to wonder. "She never told me she was pregnant when she left," he whispered. Eliza's head snapped up. "What?" Alexander's eyes widened as realization dawned. "Your sister, the one in long-term care. How old is she?" Eliza's voice shook as she answered, 22. "Born after my mother left your company." The implication hung between them, enormous and life-changing. "She has the same rare blood condition I do," Alexander said quietly. "The one Sophia inherited from me." Before they could process this revelation, the doctor emerged with news. Sophia needed a blood transfusion, but her rare blood type made finding a match difficult. Eliza's voice came without hesitation, "Test my sister. And me." Hours later, confirmation came. Eliza's sister was a perfect match, sharing the rare blood markers that could only mean one thing. Alexander wasn't just her mother's former business partner and lover. He was her sister's biological father, making Sophia her half-sister. The family Eliza had longed for had been within reach all along, connected by invisible threads of blood and fate. As Sophia recovered, the three of them, plus Eliza's sister, now moved into the mansion, began building something new together. Not without challenges and adjustments, but with a foundation of truth and second chances. 6 months after that disastrous blind date, Eliza stood in the garden where Alexander had almost kissed her, now transformed for a different kind of celebration. "Are you ready?" Alexander asked, taking her hand. His eyes held the same question they had that night, but now there were no secrets between them, no hesitations. "I've been ready since the night you stood up for me," Eliza answered, reaching up to touch his face. "Some people spend their whole lives looking for their place in the world. I found mine when I stopped being invisible to you." Their kiss was witnessed by Sophia and Eliza's sister, both cheering from their wheelchairs, both healing in their own ways. The family that fate had separated, now reunited by chance, choice, and love. As the sun set on the Reed mansion, Eliza reflected on how completely her life had transformed from that humiliating moment in the restaurant. From a maid with $5 to her name, to a woman who had found her family, her history, and her heart's home. Sometimes the greatest journeys begin with our lowest moments, she thought. And sometimes, being seen, truly seen, by the right person changes everything. If this story touched your heart, remember that second chances and unexpected connections might be waiting in your own life. Share your thoughts below, and subscribe for more stories that remind us how quickly life can change when we're brave enough to face the truth, and lucky enough to be seen by someone who recognizes our worth beyond what's visible on the surface.